Hello everyone, this is about SaaS team. Today we will discuss how software as a service helps people and understand it better. SaaS stands for software as a service. It is another kind of cloud computing term which refers to the model, a business model that provides the services to the customer, right? So it is flexible. It can provide these services anytime, anywhere, whenever they require, and they are very much economically friendly. Let's read the definition. The term SaaS, software as a service, refers to the business model of delivering software as a service. As a vendor, we are responsible for delivering and operating an entire solution, keeping in mind the customer's security, their demands, understanding it, and meeting it, right? So, one might ask why we would need SaaS architecture. So, let's discuss its advantages. Now, one can download a application or a service they need into their local machine, but then again it would cost them the downloading, the maintaining, and working on it. So SaaS provides an option to those such that they can access the service whenever they require. You don't need to install it locally or maintain it. Like the cloud platform, whenever you want, you can access it. Let me take an example of Excel service. Like Microsoft Excel is a local application. One can download it and work on it. But what if I don't want to download it and maintain it? Then we can go on to Google Spreadsheets, right? So we could access it whenever we want, however we want, and maintain it, right? So it eliminates the work of maintenance. It supports business goals. Like we can create the services according to the customer's demand, so it's flexible rather than rigid. Next advantage is minimal viability product. SaaS prioritize the MVP, means don't go into complexities and create the simpler and efficient product into the market. Okay, so it quickly deliver the core features and functionality at highest possible level of quality and robustness. So it's a very major advantage of the SaaS architecture. It is scalable, yes, right. We could scale it. After we have created the minimal viable product, and then we later think we could add these and these and these features into it, we can scale it. It is reliable. How? We can access it anywhere. It is quick, it is available, and it is very much economically friendly, as I said. Security, it is one of the major feature that the SaaS architecture or the engineer should keep it in mind. It is important to prevent the unauthorized access and prevent data loss, to make it an official and good software as a service. So it is scalable, reliable, efficient, MVP, support business goal, and there is no need of maintenance in it. After we have learned such advantages of SaaS, we might know how it works. Okay, first we will talk about how SaaS differs from IaaS and PaaS. SaaS. Now, IaaS provides the storage conditions or the infrastructure. It stands for infrastructure as a service. So IaaS provide the infrastructure like the server, the networks, the storage to the customers. Okay, well, what does SaaS do? SaaS provides the services. PaaS, it is a cloud service provider. It provides a platform. For an example, Netflix is a platform. Okay, it provides a platform where you can host many of the movies and the series on it. So it's a platform as a service. SaaS provides the service. In the analogy we will discuss later, you will understand it more. How SaaS operate? As a user would demand a request, they would send their request via API to the SaaS architecture. The SaaS architecture would search for the service the user want, and it all works under the cloud. As I said, you don't have to store it locally, so it is stored somewhere, and mostly it is stored in the cloud platforms. Again, it is favorable as the vendors can ask for a subscription fee from the users, or it can be free. So it can generate revenue, it provides scalability, reliability, and flexibility to the customers. So it's a win-win on the good side. How does the SaaS architecture works? SaaS, there are many models on how SaaS architecture will be built. It is the first step. After you have listened to the requirements of the customers, it is your first step to decide what model you want to build your architecture upon, right? So first we will discuss the tenancy model. Tenancy model is a single tenant and multi-tenant or hybrid tenant. Single tenant means a specific or a unique service for a customer. Now, if the there are more customers who need the same service, there will be separate storage or networking or devices for them. Like you can see in the example, if user 1, user 2 and user 3 want a service, they are given an individual service with their each individual database requirements. While in multi-tenant, which is more used and flexible and reliable, multi-tenant use same customers, like all the different customers use the same services and use the same database. It's more efficient to manage it, because keeping variable database, managing it could be problematic, and if it could be traffic too. Okay, next is hybrid. Hybrid is a mixture of single and multi-tenant architecture on the basis of industry and functionality. It could be vertical SaaS. Vertical SaaS means you are working on a specific service. Horizontal SaaS means you provide many of the service into your domain. Pattern can be monolithic and microservice. As you can see, you provide a main service. It's a monolithic. Microservice, you divide your main service into subparts and work on it. They are interlinked to each other. Okay. After understanding the SaaS architecture, now let's understand SaaS with an analogy of the store. Suppose you are going into a store or a supermarket as a customer. So these customers are the users or the clients of the SaaS. The store in the real time stands or can be analogous for the interface from which we can access the services. What we do in the store, we ask the salesperson of demanding or our requirement, what we want from them. Then they fetch the thing we want and give it back to us. Similarly, the SaaS, the user by the interface requests for a particular service via API. Okay. Now, as salesperson can get fruits, household products, API can get various services according to the customer need. This whole block stands for the architecture. Now, these fruits are stored in the storage yard of the supermarket. Similarly, in the SaaS terminology, these are stored in the databases. Either we can fetch from the database or store in the databases. So, user from the interface asks through the API, which calls and requests for a specific service. It returns with the specific service after searching it in the database or wherever it is stored. So, now we will understand an example of a SaaS service. I'm taking the example of login. Now, security is a very important feature in everywhere in this world. To maintain the security, we could ask before giving the services to our user if they are authenticated or authorized or not. So, we would be creating a security service. Now, what should be the user stories or the points to make it strong? We can make registration, verify the email, see the login and only giving access to those who are authorized, and checking if their password is strong. How could these would help? It would help before uploading a document. We could verify that the user who has uploaded it was verified user. If something happens in the future, the crash of a site or some failures, we could see the log and access who was at that time of the event, right? So, what are the components? Authentication, like I said, we could validate the input, like whether the username and the password they have input is the same, because it would risk the security. We could limit, like API, we could limit the usage. We could charge them after they have reached a certain limit, right? So we could provide the services for a certain time period, and when the usage exceeds, we could provide them the premium by charging a certain amount of fee that leads to our subscription plan. This could be a SaaS service too, to maintain how many users are there who are using the free services while others who are on the paid terms. We could maintain who have paid their recent amount, their recent subscription fee, and who are delaying it, right? So these all can be maintained. It all comes in the security. Okay. Before leaving, I want to show you an example of how this login service would work. You could see here we have an agent login to whom we will write our username, which would be agent123, and a password. Now, One might think how it operates. This could be a service made by the SAAS before giving an authorization. So SAAS will check from its server whether the username and the password belongs to the authorized user or not. So it is verifying the credential and it is a success, and it is driving us to the page, the home page that we can continue our work upon. But if somehow, now let's consider how it works. Here you can see we would enter the credential. This API sends the request to the SAAS login server, which verifies it, and it sends it back and give us the output. Yes, it is a secured user and it can come in, right? So what was the role of API? Why I symbolize it in the form of rocket? Because it is like a transportation system. It just sends takes the request from the user to the server and take back the response from the server to the user. So API helps a lot in this process. Now how it would work in multiple transactions. Here you could see that after entering, many users have entered their password and securities from many different websites. The API asks the server and it sends back whether they are right or wrong, and you can see three have access denied, right? So means no one gets an access. So SaaS architecture also maintains that the service they grant is multi-tenant. You could see here we could manage many of the people here. So that was a brief introduction about the SaaS. Hope you would have understood it. Thank you.